gamers, because even when I come up to them with a microphone, I'm like, hi, Jenny McCarthy, will you talk to me? They're like, shh.
Our friends from Next Gen Videos always have two of the hottest girls. Konami came out guns blazing this year too with their Rumble Rose girls.
Yo, you need to take that camera over to Rumble Rose.
Outside of Majesco's booth, they had the Blood Rain model.
I gotta say, Blood Rain, they got this great model who actually looks just like her.
So she kind of has that kind of goth vampire thing going for her, and she sticks out of my mind too, but I love my wife.
This is one instance where graphics over gameplay could be a good thing. If Filter was a video game, we'd be rated M right about now. But we're not, and since most of these games won't be rated for quite some time, I think it's safe to move on to our most anticipated PC titles to see what everyone is dying to play on their home gaming rigs. Will Blizzard conquer the MMO market? And what about those pesky Zen aliens in Half-Life 2? Let's do some research and find out. Hey, wasn't that supposed to come out like last summer?
Number 5.
Of course, EverQuest was the biggest thing in massively multiplayer online role-playing games, and EverQuest 2 is the sequel to that. There's several things that it's doing. It's not only continuing the storyline from EverQuest 1, but it's also adding some really cool features, such as spoken dialogue for all their quests.
Is that so?
EverQuest 2 is about immersion. We're going to give you an experience that's going to be unbelievable. We're going to make you the hero in the game and let you accomplish things at the highest levels with you and your best friends.
Number 4.
World of Warcraft's a massively multiplayer game, whereas in Warcraft 3 you were playing as a strategy game from the top down. You're going to be able to play in that world from a first-person view to adventure in a classic MMO universe.
Everybody knows Warcraft, everybody knows StarCraft, and everybody wants to play this game. And this has the potential to really take the MMO genre and really make it a mainstream game. So many people played Warcraft in the past that I think this game will be the one that hooks them all.
Number 3.
Wow, I mean, if you actually seen the game running in real time, the game's incredible. I mean, for them to be able to take the whole story of Lord of the Rings and create a real-time strategy game out of that, it's unbelievable. And if you see it in real time, it just takes your breath away.
It's like you're playing the movie. You know, you have these huge armies going at it. You know, these thousands of people. The RTS style, it's very kind of command and conquerish, but a lot more personality, I would say. And again, I mean, it just looks like you're playing an actual movie.
Number 2.
Sims 2, again, another really popular sequel. The Sims is a mega million seller out there. So Sims 2 is just going to like really get you more into relationships, get you more into actually getting into people's wants and people's desires. So it's kind of taking it to the next level and really being more about getting even more personal with people and more personal with your Sims.
In The Sims 2, you're going to be able to have children and raise them and mess them up sufficiently like any good American should.
Number 1.
Half-Life 2 is one of those games that only comes around every couple of years or so. This demo they showed us, oh my god, the graphics are just amazing, and the way everything works together. You really feel like you're in this world being overtaken by these alien invaders.
Half-Life 2 is going to be the game that blows everyone away in terms of graphics. It's amazing. Now, I played a little bit of Half-Life 2. I was really excited to see all the city environments. The environments are just fantastic to look at.
Valve is taking their time with the game, and God bless them for doing it because it's going to be phenomenal.
Time and broken promises don't necessarily mean you've lost interest. I guess the old saying goes, it'll be ready when it's done. E3 is almost over, but we still have some business to take care of. I bet there are some PlayStation 2 games you can't wait to get your hands on. And we'll take a look at the best that E304 has to offer. Don't pass out on me yet. We'll be right back.
All right, what's up? You're watching Filter, Best of E304.
Welcome back to Filter. We've been running ourselves ragged to bring you a most excellent E3 experience direct from the show floor, and we've just about covered it all. So we can't wait for Halo 2 on the Xbox, The Legend of Zelda on the GameCube, and Half-Life 2 for the PC still makes your heart flutter in anticipation. Now it's time to give some respect to the PlayStation 2. I mean, it does have a solid Snake in the Jungle, a devil crying for the third time, and the not very Final Fantasy 12. Pretty impressive, I'd say. But which game is everyone just dying to play the most? Don't be sly. We'll find out soon enough. Like right now.
Number 5.
Gran Turismo 4 will be launched in November 2004 and will feature more than 500 cars, up to 100 courses, and have online mode as well as a variety of other modes and features that really not only act as a driving game but really celebrate automotive culture.
It was tight. Yeah, I liked it. The steering's better than the third one. The third one to me, the steering was kind of too constrictive. This one seemed like it's more realistic.
Number 4.
Killzone is a very, very tight Halo killer for the PlayStation 2. Everything I've seen on it looks really, really cool. You're fighting against this very, very strange kind of pseudo-Nazi looking characters, and the graphics look great. It looks like it's really, really taking advantage of what the PS2 can do. That system still has life in it.
Killzone is PlayStation 2's answer to Halo on the Xbox. It's kind of a squad-based science fiction shooter. The graphics are incredible. So finally, PlayStation 2 gamers can say, hey, we have our Halo 2.
Number 3.
Prince of Persia was one of the best games last year, and it's awesome that it's getting a sequel. The gameplay was awesome. Visually, it had a really unique style, and it had a great charm about it.
You're going to get all the great stuff, all the great visuals from the first game, but there's going to be so much more variety, so many more challenges and things you haven't seen in games before.
Prince of Persia 2, really excited to it because the first one was just a brilliant game. It was astounding. It was fun. It's the kind of game that you just pick up and you want to play all the way through. You don't want to stop. And when it's over, you don't want it to be.
Number 2.
Final Fantasy XII is probably going to be one of the most unique games in the series. It's being made by the Final Fantasy Tactics team, who usually makes small games that have an ardent following.
Final Fantasy XII is one of the most highly anticipated games of the last 10 years, I want to say. We played Final Fantasy XI, which was an MMO. It was very different. We played Crystal Chronicles, Tactics, all very good games, but nothing beats a traditional RPG from Square.
Number 1.
The graphics, they stepped it up a whole nother level, you know? That's what I'm in it for. You know, I want to feel like that's me on the screen. Snake's my man, you know? The movements feel real now. They're more realistic.
To me, it's a much more open-ended world. You can find cover anywhere. You can lay in the grass, but not too long or else you get leeches on you and the snakes are in there. It's much more realistic, much more.
So he has to eat snakes to survive. That's a little cannibalistic, don't you think? Whether you have every console or just one, it looks like everyone's going to get some satisfaction in the months or years ahead. Booth babes not included. Now E3 is almost played out and we have one more order of business before we can all go home to recover from the past 3 days of gaming glory. We looked at all the games, the booths, and the boobs, but what was that one jewel, that needle in a haystack, that stood out from all the rest? It all came down to a handheld battle of the acronyms.
The biggest news at E3 to me is the handheld wars. You got Sony and Nintendo going at it on an entirely different forum. It's going to be an interesting thing to watch.
The DS looks like it's the lower priced, more accessible system that's going to take some more risks. Sony, though, they're masters of marketing and getting their electronics out there. The PSP could be what is essentially the next Walkman.
We bugged just about everyone at the convention center to find that elusive best in show, but it boils down to the hardware. The PSP and the Nintendo DS both come out on top. We survived, and my feet are killing me, which means it's over. That wraps up this special E3 episode of Filter. We'll see you next year. Until then, I'm going to sneak over and try to snag some free t-shirts before I go home and crash.